everybody. Game number 3 saw lead changes and a little bit of everything, including ownership going after coaching staff of the London Lightning to balls being thrown into the empty stands here at the Scotiabank Centre. So if that's what Game 3 had going, this one should be a dandy. Game 4 seconds from getting underway between the London Lightning and the Halifax Hurricanes, with the Lightning leading the NBL Finals 2-1. My name's Dan Hobson, joined alongside here by Vince Williams. We'll hear from him in just a second. Let's get to those starting 5. Kyle Johnson, Junior Cadogan, Garrett Williamson, Anthony Criswell into the starting 5. Vince will talk about that in just a couple of seconds. And Ryan Anderson, the final starter there for the London Lightning. For the Halifax Hurricanes, Tyrone Watson, Cliff Clinkscales, Antoine Mason, Renardo Dixon getting a start here instead of CJ Washington. Here he is just a little bit banged up, unable to answer the bell, but is dressed and can come off in a reserve role. And Billy White round up the starting 5 as I now hand things over here to Vince Williams. And Vince, of course, the big story of the day is that Royce White, the MVP, not in the lineup.
Yeah, not available this evening, Dan. A suspension, a one-game suspension, because of a technical foul that he actually assumed there on an illegal screen that he was called in the third quarter, where after that illegal screen, he basically hoists the basketball into the first row behind his basket. So Royce White is not available tonight, and that's a big factor going into game number 4 here between these two teams. A must-win situation for the Halifax Hurricanes. Every game throughout now is a must-win situation for them. They need to take advantage of not having Royce White in the lineup and going up against him. Royce White has been very good in this series in the first 3 games, and he was on absolutely fire, and him along with Ryan Anderson were the catalysts down the stretch in that fourth quarter when they went on that 24-6 run to start the fourth quarter and pretty much took control of the game. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how the London Lightning play without Royce White in the lineup.
Yes, he was averaged about 20 points in the season as Junior Cadogan makes a nice move and a fake and has an easy layup to get things started here, 2-0, and coming up to the 22nd mark here in the opening quarter. And also he was pretty big in rebounds. He was far hands down their leading rebounder in the playoffs and regular season, averaging right around in the 400 range. So not only is he a big weapon offensively, he can gather up the boards. We'll see how this goes. Billy White shooting the 3 there as the shot clock was winding down, and that is unable to go. And Ryan Anderson, who was the performer of the game and Vince had talked to after game number 3, drives, and now Williamson will have a chance to shoot them here from the free-throw line on a nice little attack there into the zone there by Anderson, and then hand it off to Williamson, who's hacked there, and the first foul going to Billy White, his first here. 48 seconds gone here in the opening frame.
Yeah, not a good start for the Halifax Hurricanes. The Lightning, as you can see, continuing to be very aggressive with the basketball. I mean, they're going to look to push the issue and get into the open floor. 48 points in the paint in game number 3. They've been very, very good at attacking and getting to the rim and getting that and one. And you can see in that last possession, Williamson was able to get into the open floor, and a great head pass there by Anderson.
3-0 is the score right now as we come up to the 1-minute mark, and Kyle Julius trying to sell a call as we introduce the officials for the game this evening. Brent Stalker there with the ball in his hand right now, as well as Matt Boyle and Ryan Lutz. The officials here this evening here from a late arriving crowd, but not too bad crowd here at the Scotiabank Centre on a Thursday night. Clinkscales now swings it over. Watson. Out the corner 3, it's no good as it's shot by Billy White once again, and Matt Boyle now has a foul as he was along the end line here, and it's going against Garrett Williamson. That's his first and the first team foul.
Yeah, lots of physicality underneath the basket there between Williamson and Antoine Mason, and as well as Watson. So Billy, a couple jump shots from deep. Not sure if that's the game Billy wants to try to go after this evening. We'd like to see him get the ball inside the paint and try to work the middle there and get a little bit closer to the rim where he's much more effective.
Send it inside to Dixon, double team, back outside. Clinkscales airs it out and gets the three and ties things up.
And he's been very good knocking down that triple in the playoffs as Cliff Clinkscales 1 for 3 in game number 3, ended up with 9 points and 11 assists. So look for Clinkscales to continue his good play, and he's got to be good through at least 48 minutes. If he's going to play between 48 to 40 minutes, he's got to be good and make every minute count.
Dixon too strong on that. Here's Junior Cadogan. His mother originally from Trinidad, and she played netball, and it goes off his thigh out of bounds, and now it's going to be Hurricanes basketball here. Just 2 minutes gone here in the first quarter.
And you can see Cadogan's continuing trying to be very aggressive and take Clinkscales off the dribble. Trying to get to the rim that last time down. He was very good in that first possession getting it to the rim, but he was stopped at that prevail.
Bernardo Dixon hits the three, and all of a sudden the 3-0 run followed up by a 6-0 run here by the Hurricanes. Coming up to 2.5 gone.
And a good response, but you can see here, this is a different ball game. No inside a game as we look like the London Lightning are playing 5-0. As essentially they have pretty much, 5 guards on the floor here. Not really a true big man. If you want to call Criswell a big man, he's more of a shooting guard or a small forward.
Criswell defending Billy White. Mason rattles in and out, and that's a tough one there. He's averaging 24 points so far in the NBL Finals. Is Antoine Mason. Johnson with the ball in the corner, entry pass. Criswell, only 1 point so far, but hands it into the driving Anderson. He lays it up and in. You may not be getting points, but he had the good awareness to send it to the driving Anderson for the bucket.
Absolutely, that was an outstanding offensive set there in the half court. Anderson was moving up without the basketball. You got to think, if you're the Halifax Hurricanes, you got to think the offense has got to be the first option of the Lightning, has to go through Anderson.
Clinkscales airs out another 3, but that's short, and a long rebound is on the floor there, and now a loose ball foul here. And it's
it looked like that was
going
a 50-50
against Tony
call.
Criswell, Anthony Criswell.
Yeah, that was a tough call on Criswell as it was a 50-50 ball between him and Clinkscales. And it looked like because of Criswell was a little bit more aggressive than Clinkscales and ended up underneath Clinkscales' feet. He was called for the personal. So tough foul call there on Criswell.
His first, it's the second team foul. Dixon, 3 ball. And it just bounced up and down and decided not to go down the last second as Ryan Anderson has it crossing the timeline here. 8:23 left here in the opening quarter. Drives, stops, kicks it out. Too strong there. The shot there by Johnson, and the weak side rebound gathered by the Hurricanes as Clinkscales brings it over half. Here's Watson. Sends it to the wing there to White. Nice ball movement here as he gets the return pass. Billy White back it in on Criswell. Might have got away with a little bit of an elbow. Clock at 6. And it's going to stay with the Hurricanes as it went off the London Lightning player Johnson close to the end line. 5 to shoot, 7:57 left to go.
You got to think that Halifax needs to get that ball inside the paint. A lot of jump shots from beyond the arc. They've been able to get 6 points, but all those shots have been from beyond the arc and not inside the paint.
Watson with the attack and the bucket as the shot clock winding down. Fourth leading scorer on this team.
Right on cue. That's a guy that's going to get many of his attempts inside that painted area. Amongst the league leaders in field goal percentage on the season is Tyrone Watson. Did an outstanding job, able to spin away from the defense and hit that fadeaway jumper.
Dixon there holding up pretty well, almost like a stiff arm right to Ryan Anderson on the drive, so it'll be his first. As we take a look at Dixon there in the lineup, filling in for C.J. Washington. He is here, as we mentioned, off the top. But feeling a little bit of pain. Of course, he's had a couple of injuries, and Criswell all of a sudden, just like that, gets a bucket. Guy that only had 1 point in the 3 games now has 2 here this evening and ties the game at 8. Clinkscales now up top, and they'll send it into the wing there to Watson. Puts up the shot, it's short, and Criswell there with a weak side rebound. It might have got a little push there from Dixon. Anderson with a ball and a nice entry pass. Williamson decides to bring it out. Gets the return pass, Criswell. There's nice ball movement here by the Lightning. Williamson attacks, contact, but he gets the bucket anyway.
Yeah, outstanding ball movement there and able to get that one to go as Williamson. But you can see that this is the game plan for the London Lightning, not having their true big man, Royce White, available, not having that double-double available for them tonight. They got to move the basketball on the perimeter, and guys got to move without the basketball, and that was an outstanding half-court set and execution on that last set down.
Just a correction, Criswell has 3 points there as Mason drives. They tried to set up the wall. There was the London Lightning, but Mason just went right through it. Contact, foul, and 3 throws coming up here for Antoine Mason, who's 67.4% three-throw shooter in the season. And that's the second one against Anthony Criswell. And this will bring the 2012-2013 NBL Finals MVP into the game, Marvin Williams, here for the London Lightning. Capers also into the game now. And now there is the veteran Phillips coming on. Gonna save at the screen, guard Mason, number 45 in the black and yellow jersey with 6:36 left to go. 10-9 the score here on a Thursday evening from the Scotiabank Center. Dan Hobson, Vince Williams, and the Silver Vision crew gladly bringing this one to you. As we mentioned, a good crowd on hand here, hoping that they can see the Hurricanes tie it at 2. And for the London Lightning, they're hoping that they could actually maybe start to put some nails in coffins. They were a team that were counting down to the NBL Finals, had 11 on the board, looking for number 10 here tonight. Anderson and Mason one-on-one over Mason, and throws up a brick as it hits the corner of the backboard. Coming up close to the halfway point here of the opening quarter. Watson along the end line, swings it up top. Mason in the corner. White 10 to shoot, backs in on Capers and loses the ball, and Anderson right there, Johnny on the spot, trying to get a pass there to Cadogan. And it does hit a Hurricane player, goes out of bounds as the former Hurricane Joel Friese will come into the game with 5:57 left to go. So we have a timeout on the floor here in the early going. 10-9 the London Lightning lead, and they lead this series 2-1. And you have to say, Vince, the start is pretty good. They pretty well knew, as you said, they came out with pretty well like 5 guards, knowing that their big man was on the lineup, and it's worked out very well so far.
Yeah, they're doing a good job attacking the rim. If you look at the percentages of the amount of points where they're getting the bulk of their points are going to the basket and attacking the rim. You look at Halifax, the shot attempts, they're 3 for 11 from the field, and most of the shots are from outside that painted area. Only 2 shots inside the paint without Royce White in the lineup. So, I mean, they got to make an adjustment and try to get that ball inside first and then work the way outside and rely on some of that outside shooting. Billy White, as you've seen that last possession down, he was unable to handle the ball and turned it over, but he's got to deal with that double and triple team that's going to come. And that's been one of the adjustments that the London Lightning have made since game number 2. Since game number 2, they figured out there needs to be adjustment where they can't allow the Hurricanes to attack the rim and not have any help if their individual defenses break down. So the defense responsibility is to protect the paint and allow the Hurricanes to try to beat them from the outside beyond the arc. So right now it's working for them thus far, and it basically has been working since the second half of the game number 3.
They got to start to really go back to the formula of success that they had in the regular season of the big men. White, Washington, of course, Washington on the bench here, a reserve role here this evening, but get the big men and take it inside to the paint. Last year was a team that relied on the threes. This year they have to start bringing it inside to the paint, as Vince mentioned. As we're back underway, as the former Hurricane Friesen is short on that shot. It rolls out of bounds. Friesen tried to get there to save it, and couldn't, and almost ran over a photographer in the process. Hurricanes ball. 5:45 left to go here in a little bit of a low scoring one so far here from the Scotiabank Center. But as you've just tuned in and were with us for game number 3, that could change as quick as a New York minute. Watson now with the clock at 5 to shoot. Mason from deep, and it bounced in and out, and Marcus Capers had a fantastic game, number 3, 8 points. And it was 3 of 6 from the field. Coming up with the defensive board, and that's one of the things that he's going to have to be relied on, as well as Williamson with White out of the lineup. Cadoga now swinging to the corner. Capers open look and gets the 3.
Yeah,
and
nice
4-point lead.
Nice jump shot there by Capers. Capers did an outstanding job coming off the bench in game number 3. He was very good with the offensive spark, and he was good down the stretch defensively as well.
Mason with a nice pass inside. Hurricanes once again late to the shot clock, but Renardo Dixon hitting another 3. Boy, there's something about him. He just seems to come up big when he gets the bell to go get into the game here. When he gets and the answer's the call is what I'm trying to say there. And it makes it 13-12, 4:27 left to go. Oh, Watson, he drove by, and all of a sudden Friesen allowed to wait for him to make the move, and then got the jumper to go. And it's a 3-point lead once again. Mason, corner 3, no, and Marvin Phillips comes up with it. As we mentioned, he's had double figures in points in the first 2 games of this series, and didn't get much in terms of scoring there in game number 3, but he's got to rely upon defense. Of course, he had 3 points, and that one was the big one that he got at the end of the third quarter. 3:47 left, and tough take there as Capers had all kinds of white jerseys, and here they come back the other way. And it's going to be an offensive foul.
Yeah, that's a tough call in transition on that 3-on-2 and the fast break on Billy. Billy just couldn't control his body there, but you got to give credit to the London defense. Sticking their head in there and sacrificing their body and giving up that charge. So missed opportunity to cut into that lead for the Hurricanes.
Got a call for the travel before the charge, so it's a little bit fortunate right there. It's a nice entry pass there from Friesen. Phillips from deep, bucket.
Marvin Phillips continue to be very good coming off the bench. Phillips in game number 3 was outstanding, 2 for 4 from the field, ended up with 4 points, but he was a very strong presence defensively, as that's what he gives Coach Kyle Julius in the Lightning when he enters the game.
Mason now draws the contact, and he'll have a chance to knock him down from the stripe.
Yeah, he's got to get aggressive, and the rest of the team really has to get more aggressive and not rely on taking shots from beyond the arc or the mid-range.
That's an excellent point that you bring up, because they only made 12 boy, it's a long day. 12 trips to the free throw line on Tuesday night.
Right.
And they went 11-12, and that really indicates that you're not really driving as much, whereas the London Lightning were 16 of 22. So
yeah, they're a very good free throw shooting team. They just need to play a little bit more aggressive and attack the rim. They got 14 attempts from the field, and out of those 14 attempts, 10 of them have been 3 balls.
Marcus Capers, Williamson. Bit of a cold game. He usually has double figures of points against the Hurricanes, but had 9 on game number 3. Goes out of bounds. 2:43 left, 8 to shoot. And you can probably hear our microphones pick up head coach Kyle Julius here, screaming out instructions here to his team right close to our broadcast location. Doug Herring Jr. into the game, and it was rare to see Doug Herring Jr. not get any points in game number 3. I can't recall him ever going a game without not scoring a point, Vince. In the regular season, it was got at least 2 points or 3 points. In the meantime, the Hurricanes come back and get a bucket of their own and make it 18-15.
Yeah,
Billy White gets it.
He had a tough night there, Dan. 0 for 4 from the field. Played 13 minutes. Had 3 rebounds. Only ended up with 3 points, but like you said, 0 points, and 4 assists and a turnover. So not the night that we're just accustomed to seeing from Doug Herring Jr.
Yeah, there's times he'll come into this building when he was a member of St. John and just have his way, as that 3 doesn't go. Quickly back the other way as Williamson fouled.
And a huge collision between Herring Jr. and Billy White. They got tangled up behind the play. Kyle Julius is looking for an explanation. You can see in the replay there, Williamson driving to the basket and reached there. That was an easy call for the officials by Antoine Mason.
Antoine Mason fingered for his first third-team foul. And Williamson will have a seat here. Of course, Williamson, we were talking about how he was usually double figures in points playing against the Hurricanes and only had 9 on game number 3. Of course, we all got to remind everybody they had a busted lip in the first quarter and took a good blow. In the meantime, Marvin Phillips comes back with an easy bucket, makes it 20-15. So probably going to see a different game out of Garrett Williamson here tonight.
Yeah, definitely want to bounce back. One of the leaders for the Lightning, and you got to think that one of the leaders and the veterans are going to have to step up here as they can take a stranglehold on this series if they manage to win this one tonight.
Coach got a hunch here as Kenny Otieno is into the game. It's been a very disappointing season for Kenny Otieno. He hasn't seen a lot of playing time, but he's been put into these pressure cooker situations, and he still, goes out to the community and sees kids in hospitals and everything. So he's still got a good attitude about it, getting some minutes here in the first quarter. And
looks like an offensive call on an illegal screen on the Hurricanes and another turnover. So despite the ups and downs of this quarter with 1:34 left and only being down 5 points, you got to be relatively happy if you're Coach Mike Leslie and the Hurricanes only being down 5.
Doug Herring Jr. wide open lane, unable to connect, and there's miscommunication. Phillips, easy 3, short. Boy, oh boy, they dodged a bullet on that one because Dixon was going the other way, and the pass was behind him, hit him in his backside. Phillips had an easy look, but unable to get the finish.
Yeah, we'll bail you out. Not sure if that was the right shot. They had numbers coming back the other way. It looked like it was a 4-on-2, but missed opportunities here for the Lightning to extend this lead in the ineffective shooting and relatively keep this game close. A little bit of sloppy play. 20 points is pretty good in the first 12 minutes, but I mean, right now, the only 20, it could be much more bigger than 5 points. It could be a double-digit lead for the Lightning if they can take advantage of some of the miscues and the one-and-dones for the Hurricanes. Hurricanes with 4 turnovers thus far, shooting only 29% from the field. On the other end, the Lightning shooting 42%, 8 for 19, 3 for 8 from downtown. And I mean, they got to be happy, but not too happy and satisfied with this 5-point lead the Lightning is. But the Hurricanes are struggling right now to find their offense. Most of the offense coming from beyond the arc. We've only got 3 attempts inside the paint, and out of the 3 attempts, 2 of them have been good. So not taking advantage of the opportunities that they have, and the opportunities meaning that they have an advantage. They don't have their number 1 player, their MVP, the Lightning that is, and Royce White. Royce White not available because of suspension. If you're just joining us, not available, 1-game suspension for a technical he sustained in the third quarter. He was 8 for 18 from the field, 22 points stand and 14 rebounds. That's big in the finals. With not having that type of offensive productivity available tonight, you're going to miss that. But they have other guys to step in and fill that void. And you've seen it thus far. Other guys have been doing the job as Williamson is being a little bit more aggressive, along with Criswell being aggressive offensively.
Not sure if our cameras caught it before the break, but Doug Herring Jr. was getting almost into the face of the officials, and Ryan Anderson as well as Kyle Julius had to get him out of harm's way before a technical came his way.
Yeah, he wasn't happy between the tie-up behind the play between him and Billy White. There was no call.
Junior Cadogan, nice, look, and a finish there by Capers. Woo, baby, that was sweet.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play, beautiful no-look pass there by Cadogan. And Capers moving without the basketball. Very athletic is Capers, and he's been good as he was injected into the game in game number 3 because of the injury to Williamson to the face.
And he's going to be called for a foul here this time as he was on the floor, grabbed Otieno. They had some fouls to give, so that was the 15th foul. Hurricanes only 3, 40.4 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. 7-point lead. London Lightning, of course, hoping here to come away with the victory here tonight and take a commanding 3-1 lead. Hurricanes hoping to tie things at 2.
Yeah, despite the missed opportunities, the London Lightning playing very well in this first quarter. As it carried over from the fourth quarter where they pretty much dominated in that game number 3, outscored the Hurricanes 35-13, and the Hurricanes continuing to struggle offensively and find ways of scoring, and they need to find some offense out of somebody right now to try to finish strong here in this first 12 minutes.
Well, of course, we've talked a lot about Royce White not being in the lineup, and Kyle Julius was asked a question about that situation, and he said pretty calmly, "We've won games without him in the lineup before, and we could do it again."
Absolutely.
Billy White's being asked to lay the floor as he's busted open on the leg, but he has those leggies, but you can see the blood on the whiteness of it, so he's going to have to leave the floor and get that attended to.
Big possession here for the Hurricanes. They need to find a way to get a bucket here.
37.7 ticks left to go in the first here. 7-point game. Clink Scales swings it over. Poole for 3, no good.
That's a tough shot.
Evans from way out and had a hand in his face here. So last shot here is there's just 1 second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Hurricanes do have 3 fouls to give as Junior Cadogan will take his time here. 9 to shoot. Now back out. Johnson. The up fake puts it up. No good, and it's gathered there by Poole. Looks up at the clock. Throws up a prayer that almost went in as it just hit the glass and bounced, and out it went. A close call there, but no cigar. 22-15 after the opening 12 minutes of play here from the Scotiabank Center. And they are doing what we expected the London Lightning to do. It's just pretty well say, look, everybody has to pick up their game. We have our MVP, our big man out of the lineup, and everybody has contributed right top to bottom. Capers 5, Williamson has 3, Criswell 3, 5 for Phillips, And the thing is Phillips seems to get lost, but he is a veteran here and was the MVP when they won the championship back in 2012 and 2013.
Yeah, and it's next man up. That's the mentality. That's definitely going to be the mantra tonight for the London Lightning. The next man up without the services of their best player, their MVP. So they're doing an outstanding job thus far. 42% from the field, 9 for 21 from the field, that is. Hurricanes struggling at 26%, 5 for 19 from the field, 3 for 12 from downtown. So most of the points and shots coming from beyond the arc and at their mid-range game. Only 2 shots inside the paint with 4 points compared to second chance opportunities. 6 for the Hurricanes, 0 for the Lightning, but points in the paint, dominating by a slight margin, 10-4 for the London Lightning. And bench scoring, very important. The reserves are very important, and they're stepping up. And as you mentioned, without that MVP, other guys have to step up and fill the void. The next man up, they're leading in that category, 12-0.
And of course, they did very well in terms of rebounds there. They had 12 versus the Hurricanes 14. And the first 2 games of the series, the Hurricanes were winning in that statistical category in terms of rebounds, but a 50 rebound performance in game number 3. And a lot of them, of course, was Royce White. So you kind of knew that they would be in tough here trying to get it. But the thing is, you talked about it, they were settling for outside jump shots rather than try to go inside. So all of a sudden, the thing is with threes, they leave for long rebounds, and then all of a sudden London's off to the races.
Yeah, they need to find a way to get the ball inside or work their way inside or attack the rim. They got to move this Lightning defense and find a way to get the drive lanes and attack the rim and not settle for 3-point shots or mid-range jumpers. They got to find a way to get to the rim.
Dixon, the high man for the Hurricanes, with 6, and Capers with 5 as we're back underway here in the second quarter. Poole swings it over to Watson. Otieno here on the coach's hunt. Hinch and elbow jumper there by Watson. And it makes it 22-17.
Now they need to dig in defensively. They got to get a little bit more defensively responsible and making sure that they're playing with one-on-one defense and not giving up good opportunities on the offensive end for the London Lightning. And that was a good closeout on Anderson there, making it tough to knock down that three.
Yeah, well, he's struggling right now. 1 of 3, but hasn't really had a chance to do much with the rock. 1 of 3 from the field, 0 of 1 from downtown. Otieno out to Clykescales. Over Phillips for 3. Bucket as Phillips in the neighborhood, but not there in time. And gets the 3, and it's a 2-point game.
And that's what happens when you move the basketball. Good, outstanding basketball movement by the Hurricanes as Clykescales had a wide open standstill 3. Like as you mentioned, the closeout coming late, but he had an opportunity to stand there and shoot it and get a good look at the goal. When they can do that type of offensive movement, then that's when they can take shots from distance in that particular range.
Cadogan with a bounce pass back to Anderson, who's guarded there by Clykescales, and then puts an entry pass picked off. Anderson and Clykescales, that's a good one-on-one matchup. Here is Watson back out. Otieno fakes, drives, puts on the brakes. Shot clock at 10 now. Otieno along the end line against Criswell. That bounced in and out. It was a size mismatch, but Otieno almost got that bucket to go, but it bounced out. Criswell fouled there by Poole. Nice passing there by the London Lightning.
Yeah, quick passing. The ball never hit the floor there once they crossed the timeline. Unselfish basketball there by Ryan Anderson, and Criswell doing a good job with moving without the basketball. He's able to make that catch and attack the rim.
Williamson and Johnson return here for the London Lightning. Haywood makes his first appearance in the game here this evening here from the Scotiabank Center. 22-12 as we take a look at the former Hurricane, Anthony Criswell. 72.8% free throw shooter in her regular season and playoffs combined. Sinks the first one. Makes it 23-20 in the early stages here of the second quarter. And you can hear the Hurricane force trying to get in the head of Criswell. Unsuccessful. 4-point game. 24-20. Otieno, the former Alberta Golden Bear. Here's Poole now. Back out. Watson. Bucket through contact. 24-22. There's a pass there that eludes Criswell, but Cadogan right there comes up with the ball. Screen set up there by Criswell. There's a bounce pass back to Johnson now. Shot clock at 8. Anderson calls for it. Poole pointing out instructions. Criswell sets the screen. Anderson drives, puts it right into the breadbasket of Cox, but he was fouled, and Poole not too happy with Matt Boyle's call. We'll have a chance to take a look at it here in a couple of seconds. As we take a look at the scrum set up there as the top free throw strategy. It's Poole's second. Anderson to the line, and he is fantastic from the stripe. 88.3%. And just on cue, sinks the first. Pretty well the player of the game at game number 3. Hands down the player of the game, and I say how good a free throw shooter, give him the old jinx as usually happens here. 25-22. 1 of 2 that time there. Otieno over to Watson. Elbow jumper doesn't go. And the great hands of Anderson goes up and comes up with the ball for the London Lightning. Maybe starting to heat things up, but it's an offensive foul.
Yeah,
and
illegal
it's going
screen.
against Criswell. That's his third.
Definitely a legal screen there. Movement though wasn't set. Good call by the officials as Haywood tried to fight through that pick and roll. But the London Lightning have been very good in their offensive sets. In particular, Ryan Anderson, when he's getting that pick and roll, he's coming off of that pick, and he's going quick to the basket. And he's been definitely.
Poole ties it. Oh, it's a long distance 2, pardon me. So it's a 1-point game, 25-24. 3 gone here in the second. Johnson, Otieno on the one-on-one. Up top, they'll swing it to Williamson. Takes it strong into the paint. Shot clock at 7. Cadogan off balance, puts up the shot. It's a loose ball foul, and it's going against Johnson of the Lightning. Timeout being called here by the London Lightning. They're up by 1, 8:44 left to go here in the second. Game number 5 of this series will be Saturday night here at the Scotiabank Center. And the London Lightning hoping here that it will be a possible trophy. The hardware could possibly be in the building if they can come away with the victory here tonight at the Scotiabank Center. Halifax Hurricanes tried to deny that possibility from happening. So far, the field goal percentage, really nothing to write home for both teams. 36% for the Halifax Hurricanes and 39% here for the London Lightning. And from downtown right now, pretty well about even 30% there for the Lightning and 30.77% for the Halifax Hurricanes. As we take a look at the bench, and Mike Poole was a bright spot in game number 3, 15 points. He missed a little bit of the first round series against the Moncton Miracles. 25-24 as Haywood is on the floor now. Otieno, Watson, as well as Cox and Poole on the floor here for the Hurricanes. Poole almost lost his balance, shot clock at 9. Haywood calling for a screen, Watson comes. Haywood puts it up and in. 27-25. Capers now. Cadogan drives in the paint. Anderson stops and pops but can't get the hit. And Mike Poole with the weak side rebound, and Halifax Hurricanes use their defense to muster up the offense. Let's see what they got in store with this one. Here is Haywood now. Spinning away, gets by Anderson. Cox! Oh, it can't go.
Gotta have it. Gotta have that shot. Outstanding play there by Haywood. Cox has to make that layup.
Williamson had a little bit of room, decided not to shoot there. Anderson swings it over the near side here to Cadogan. Clock at 7 now. A little bit of room, puts up the jumper and the bucket.
Junior Cadogan's been very good in this first half for the Lightning.
4 points right now, 7:13 left to go, 27-27 here. And an all-important game number 4. There's an air ball thrown up there by Poole, and Anderson brings it up here for the Lightning. Williamson puts on the Jets, and count it, and 1.
Outstanding take there by Williamson. Great patience. Was able to arc his body, take the contact, and finish at the rim, and he'll go to the line for a 3-point play.
Williamson, 1 of 2 from earlier here tonight. .2% in the season, and can't hit on that one as all of a sudden the free throws are hurting the London Lightning. Now 4 of 7. 6:53 left. Haywood over Williamson. Long distance too.
He's got the confidence going as Haywood's got the stroke going. A little bit of swagger here for Joey Haywood. Good to see.
He had 20 points. That was his season high against the London Lightning back on February 20th. He hit 3 3-pointers. So he likes playing this team. That hits a body, goes out of bounds. Will stay with London. 6.5 left to go, 5 to shoot. 29-29 as we take a look at some of the crowd here at the Scotiabank Center. As Brent Stocker getting ready to give the ball to Williamson to throw in. Nice pass there, Doug Herring Jr., and he's off the stud, and they'll probably put him in a little bit of a better mood as he gets the bucket.
Great heads-up play by Herring Jr., able to cut back towards the rim when he didn't have anything.
Look who's heating up. Spew product, downtown 3, 32-31.
Yeah, that king handle swag starting to show up. It's good to see Haywood.
Anderson short on that one. Another second chance opportunity, and foul called there by Brent Stocker.
Yeah, definitely the right call there.
Going against
position.
Haywood.
Kyle Johnson able to get that rebound, that second chance opportunity.
Yeah, the London Lightning were trying to bring it out and try to regroup to get a good shot instead of try to stay in the paint. Fouled before they could get that one underway.
If there's any statistic that's pretty good for the Hurricanes right now, is the second chance opportunities. Halfway through the game on this point, they were in double digits when it came to offensive rebounds. They surrendered. They've only surrendered 3 offensive rebounds thus far, the Hurricanes. So
shot clock was winding down. Johnson throws the dart. Otieno with the bucket.
Good take there by Kenny, recognizing the defensive breakdown, getting in that driving lane, and talked about it before. They got to continue to be aggressive, attack the rim, get the inside game going, and then go to the outside game.
Very intelligent Scotiabank Center crowd showing their appreciation for a guy that hasn't seen a lot of playing time, gets a bucket. And in the meantime, the London Lightning come back and get a 2 of their own, 34-33. So we're coming up to 5 to go till halftime. Haywood having a pretty good second quarter here for the Hurricanes. Watch there by Johnson. Entry pass, Watson, short on it, calling for something. And boy, he's lucky he didn't get teed up because he was very boisterous towards Brent Stocker along the end line. Luckily not to get a tee, as I mentioned.
Yeah, he was looking for a contact. It didn't come. It looked like Ryan Anderson had the initial contact, pulled the chair out on him, and Watson was unable to finish.
Cox now hands it off. Haywood, short, and the former Hurricane Friesen brings it down. Friesen last year had 12 points in game. Had 12 points in game number 3. Last year, 9 points in 30 minutes. It's a member of the Hurricanes.
Good dribble
Mason
drive
drives.
by Mason. Yeah, he needs to get going here. He needs to get some attempts, but he's got to get his game attacking the rim, and that was the right decision in that transition there for Mason. Now he'll go to the line and shoot 2, where he's been up and down throughout the seasons, but he's been pretty good throughout the playoffs here.
2 of 4 tonight right now. That's where his 2 points came from. And will now give his team a 2-point lead, 35-33, 4:36 left. Billy White comes to the scorer's table, getting ready to come back in here for the Hurricanes. Left because he had blood on his leg. He's now cut the leggings off, and is back ready to play here. With 4:36 left to go, 3-point game. So we take a look at Doug Herring Jr. Calls out the play. Phillips out on the floor, as well as Johnson, Capers, and Friesen here. Friesen bothered there by Otieno. Nice ball movement, spins there, takes it strong, and his shot is too strong, and Capers right there, second chance opportunity, and he's fouled, and he'll have a chance to go to the free-throw line.
Good individual defense there by Otieno. Forced a tough shot out of Friesen, but working without the basketball and able to get that offensive rebound is Capers. Capers, as I mentioned, has been very good since it's been inserted into this series.
Capers
game number 3.
63.3% free throw shooter.
Very good in game number 3 was Marcus. 3 for 6 from the field. Ended up with 8 points, played 26 big minutes after Williamson went down with an injury in that second quarter. But he was particularly very good. Most of his points, of that 8, were in the fourth quarter.
Knocks both down. Anderson will come back in for Johnson. Kyle Johnson having a tough night. 0 for 2 from downtown, 0 for 2 from the field. And with those offers, of course, you got no points. Otieno swings it over here on the near side here to Mason, now in the corner. Haywood puts on the Jets. Shot clock at 9. Otieno taking it strong, and oh, it was in and then it was out. White keeps it alive in a new 24. White back against Phillips here on the one-on-one. Back out, Mason now. Runs into Friesen looking for the call and gets it.
You can
Going
see
against Phillips.
I mean, the London Lightning are playing a man-to-man defense, but it looks like they're not really playing true, where they're backing off a little bit and packing inside the paint and then taking away that dribble drive, as Mason had to beat 3 guys off that dribble just to get where he got to.
My apologies. Doug Herring Jr. called for the foul, his first, 4th deep foul. Lots of contact, Mason, and once again, the Mills boys standing up, not happy with the officiating. There's a rejection. Get that garbage out of here.
Otieno on the transition defense. He's playing outstanding in the second quarter since being injected into the game.
Bernardo Dixon. Back out. Haywood, gets away with a push.
No, he didn't.
No.
No, that's
a late call there by Matt Boyle.
That was too blatant from here with the extended arm, the gain spacing between him and the defender, Joey Haywood.
Yeah.
That was an easy call for the official.
I was looking right at him at the time, and then all of a sudden there it was, the whistle blown.
Yeah. Otieno got a great round of applause as he goes to the bench. Solid minutes coming off the bench, and Coach Mike Leslie's got to be happy.
Well, it's
with
that
the productivity of Otieno.
Well, you've talked about previously in broadcasts, you and I have worked together, about the unknown factor, where I'm sure that Kyle Julius did not have any plans for Kenny Otieno getting into the game here this evening. Clank Scales swings it over to the wing here to Haywood. 2:40 left to go, 13 to shoot. Clank Scales, Phillips on the one-on-one, now taking it strong, stops, pops, bucket.
That's a tough shot. Outstanding defense there by Phillips, though. He was able to stay with Clink Scales, forced the tough shot, but Clink beat the defense with an outstanding fadeaway jumper.
Herring Jr., you mentioned he got no points last game. He's already on the score sheet here this evening. 2:12 left to go as the defense chant rings loud here at the Scotiabank Center. Clock at 2. Anderson, tough shot, and it's too strong, and it's knocked out of bounds by Doug Herring Jr. Hurricanes basketball.
And see, this is where the problems lie for the Lightning offense, when guys are just standing around and the individual play tries to take over, guys try to go one-on-one, and the shot clock dwindled, and Anderson had to throw that up as a forced shot, and that's where their offense goes awry. If they move the ball around and get good ball movement without the basketball, that's where they're successful.
Billy White with the take and the bucket. That's a 5-point lead. .95 seconds left to go till halftime. The London Lightning bring it over half court. Anderson now swings it over. Phillips up fake, now drives. Inside, Capers can't hit. And back the Hurricanes come the other way on a 3-on-2. Dixon, contact, bucket. Herring Jr. wanted a call. And the official said no, that was clean. Play continues on, 7-point lead, coming up to a minute left here in the first half. Screen set up by Capers as Doug Herring Jr. drives. It goes out of bounds, and it's Hurricanes basketball. 59.9 ticks to go. Clank Scales swings it. Antoine Mason wide open. Lane and bucket. Put the brakes on just in the nick of time. And it's a 9-point lead. Clank Scales wants noise. The Scotiabank Center of course, listen to their captain as they start to make the noise. If we take a look at Mason on the drive once again, and a nice bucket.
Much better quarter here for the Hurricanes. Attacking the rim, getting inside that painted area, forcing that London Lightning defense to play it, and not allowing them to just stand around inside the paint and look at jump shots and rebound and go back the other way. The percentages now, compared to the start of the quarter where they started just below 30% from the field, at 43% now, 17 from 39, and most of those points coming in transition and inside the painted area.
33% on our London Lightning from the field, and Anderson who took that last shot, 1 of 9. Not the numbers, of course, that he would like, but game 4 is not really his favorite, as he only had 5 in game number 4 last year in the finals against the Hurricanes. One final shot here for the London Lightning. Hurricanes no fouls to give. Anderson now, no good, and that's how this one is, and he'll go 1 of 10 now from the field as he walks off here. And you can take a look at the big crowd we have here on hand at the Scotiabank Center, and they're happy, liking what they see so far. 44-35 after the opening 24.
Yeah, good close to that second quarter, Dan, for the Hurricanes, as they found an answer to try to get to the rim and be very aggressive attacking that rim, and that's been the recipe for success for that second quarter. But you got to give credit to the reserves, and in particular the play of Kenny Otieno, who sparked the offense and got the Hurricanes moving in the right direction.
So we're going to take a break here. 44-35, Hurricanes leading the London Lightning. Lightning leading the series 2-1 in game number 4 here from the Scotiabank Center. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with third quarter action here on NBL Canada YouTube. like, out of this world, is it?
Well, first and foremost, for me, it's a legitimate love for the game, and I truly feel privileged to be involved in the capacity that I am and do the work that I do and help grow the brand in the way that I have. And so I just feel fortunate and blessed and privileged, man.
All right. We're glad you could join us here so you can offer your expertise. Of course, the London Lightning, a team that you get a chance to see quite frequently being in the Central Division here. And they're definitely the odds-on favorites in this series. But this is a chance here for the Hurricanes to, try to win with Royce White out of the lineup. That is just a huge blow to the point-wise, rebound-wise.
You've got to take advantage of the opportunities that you have, right? And I mean, for Halifax, it's whoever's out there, we playing them, and whether it's Royce White or in the lineup or not, it's a game they got to win.
Watson not too happy about being called for the offensive foul, but and a turnover here, and you can probably hear a little bit of some of the Hurricane fans probably showing their displeasure. Of course, we're not going to repeat the words because, well, this is a family show.
Nothing but love for the refs, I see.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't know why anybody wants to be a referee.
Tough job.
Yeah.
But love for the game.
Love of the game, but nobody will, all of a sudden say, hey, it was a great game you had, after the game. Rare that ever happens. And
I really appreciate those fouls you called
on
me.
Really
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's like a quick second team foul here for the Hurricanes, 48 seconds in. This one going against Antoine Mason. It's his second. As we take a look at Garrett Williamson.
But great first half if you're a Halifax Hurricane fan. They came out and played they did what they had to do, quite frankly, and established themselves early.
Kaduga with the jumper that doesn't go. It's a loose ball foul, and this one is going against the Hurricanes. And it's going against Renato Dixon.
Tough
and
foul.
Just like that, it's three quick ones there on the Hurricanes, oddly.
That's a tough one. I mean, they look like they had rebounding position, and perhaps the foul gave them that advantage. But, you're giving London another shot at the basket with a fresh 24.
Just 1 minute gone and three already in the bank there for the Hurricanes. Team fouls. Dixon called for his second. Criswell can't get that one to go. And just while you were doing an interview segment over there on television, Criswell was actually, getting chirped there by the boys in the front row there, and he was chirping back with them. So.
Well, I mean, remember Criswell did play here, so maybe he's sending some love back to his supporters.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Here's Watson now, just outside the arc here. Watched by Criswell. Dixon for three, and that's too strong. And Anderson with the rebound there.
Ronaldo's really been shooting with confidence the last little while now.
And count it for Williamson, and one.
Garrett
quickly up
Williamson.
And down, just like that.
Taking it to the rack. He's a tough guy. He attacked the rack, and you saw there drawing the contact, getting the harm, and finishing the play. Ooh.
This is the thing, is that during some of the in-between quarters, whatever Kyle Julius has said to his team, pretty well here in the series here at Halifax has worked, because at one point in game number 3, they were down by 9. Whatever he said between that third and fourth quarter break, They came out and guns a-blazing, took over that fourth quarter and then won the game.
Yeah, he's been able to make great adjustments on the fly, and I mean, hey, he's a coach of the year for a reason.
Exactly. Clink Scales with the balls. Pass almost picked off. Here's Mason now. White. Shot clock at 10. Entry pass. Watson on the drive. Fouled there by Williamson. That's a lucky one. I thought he might have lost the handle before the foul, but Brent Stocker says not so much.
He'll go to the line regardless what the opinions are. He'll go to the line and take 2 shots.
Yeah.
I'm always hearing you and Vince talk about the second row and, the view and stuff. And my buddy Matt's next to me. I mean, we're doing all right, man.
Well, you just wait till those guys down there stand up, and you try to see things in the corner, and then that corner there too, and they stand up.
Well, then we all stand up together. How's that?
Well, you want to stand at the table. That's your choice. You won't look bad at all or odd at all standing on a table mid-row.
I like that pun. I won't look odd. Very good. I like that. You guys are good, Dad.
Anderson can't hit. A one and done there for the London Lightning here as we come up to 2 gone here in the third quarter. Entry pass. Watson spins away from Williamson, and bucket there. Renato Dixon. They'll give him 10.
He's having a good showing. We saw, Ryan Anderson in the previous possession. He's shooting 1 of 11, only 3 points on the afternoon after coming off his 33-point performance last game.
There's a shot that's too strong, and Billy White was a little bit off balance, got his hand on it and swatted it out of bounds. 9:33 left to go, 47-38.
The difference in this one thus far is the shooting percentage. We're seeing London shoot 30% from the field. They need some shots to drop.
Yeah, it's not a lot of players there, double figures on points yet. Closest is Williamson with 8. Offensive foul called.
Lightning foul on Anthony Criswell.
That's Criswell called for that one.
That's another
That's
turnover.
His 4th. Yeah, he's got a little bee in his bonnet, as we mentioned earlier. So,
Yes.
boy, he's showing it here. I thought he was trash talking me, to be quite honest, Audley. It's like, I never said anything. I just sit in this back row and talk. I don't do anything to get anybody upset.
All he sees is the enemy. It doesn't matter where you're sitting.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk? You make that a good point, because as we take a look at Billy White, last game Billy White was looking at some of the band Squid.
Yep.
They have the same colors as the London Lightning, and he said, "Is that a London Lightning band performing on our floor? I don't think so."
We're not having it.
Yeah, he was. He was adamant about it. In the meantime, Mason comes back, gets a bucket. Makes it 49-38.
I'm really appreciating the shot selections by Antoine Mason, rather. He's really putting the pressure, not relying on the outside jumper, putting the ball on the floor and attacking the rim.
Well, this is our team. I should say our team. My apologies on that one. Halifax Hurricanes are a team that relies on the bigs and taking it inside the paint.
Yep.
Last year was a team that they relied on
Absolutely.
the 3, but this year going inside. They were doing settling for the outside jump shots. As we take a look at Williamson there, and swatted out away.
Good post defense from Captain Klink.
Play scales now in the paint. 1-on-1 on Johnson, off the window and in. 51-38. And for Klink scales, that would put him in the double figures in points. Oddly, last year in game number 4, he only had 5 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. So he's
doubling that.
He's doubled his point production from game 4s.
I like when Klink is aggressive on offensive end. We know what he can do in terms of distributing the ball, but when he starts to score, man, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
Phillips back out. Cadogan for 3. Swish.
I don't care who you are. When you give him that kind of time and space, it's money, man. Cadogan with the 3. Doesn't take a whole lot of shots outside. So when he puts them down,
And for Cadogan, that will give him 7 points right now as we come up to the 4-minute mark here in the third quarter. Joined here by Audley Stevenson, and we're glad to have him here in the third quarter. Vince must have got a little bit tired, and he brought you in to do his job. You do a little bit of work.
Well, Vince needs to, wait. Let's leave our Vince insults for
the 3. Dixon. Boy, all of a sudden, when he gets into the starting lineup, all of a sudden he just changes.
That is something else. Again, he's shooting the ball with so much confidence. But what I really appreciate from that play, you saw Huston, you saw Kyron Watson on the ground, you saw everyone scrambling for that ball, and Ronaldo Dixon wide open. Let it fly, baby.
Yeah. And the thing is that 48% from downtown. It's not what you think of when you think of Ronaldo Dixon as the team's leading shooter from outside the arc.
Well, we saw him establish himself, especially last season, as a defensive specialist, a guy that, helped defender, block shots, rebounds, and now he's extending his game and causing all kinds of mismatch problems. Offensive foul, Kyle Johnson and Antoine Mason mixing it up, and Antoine draws a foul.
Lightning foul.
Boy, oh boy, and you take a look at Kyle Julius, all he can do is scratch his head right now. The thing is, too, in game number 3, when the incident that has White suspended when he threw the ball, he went to the bench, the Hurricanes went on a run.
They did.
There was no real run in this game, but it just seemed to have happened right now, and it is a 13-point deficit. Now they just got to weather this storm. Mason inside, clock at 12. Dixon for 3. That's no good. Quickly back up. Here is Williamson now. Inside, Phillips. Too strong on that one. A one and done. Loose ball gathered up there by Cadogan. Phillips on the floor here at the Scotiabank Center. Williamson wanting for the intentional foul, 2 in the ball, trying to get an explanation there from the official Ryan Lutz as we look at Dixon there.
It was, yeah, okay, I can certainly see where the point is being made. Referee didn't feel so, and the play continues on.
Well, we talk about Dixon and his hot shooting, but now in a little bit of foul trouble as he's got 4. Anthony Cox, Mr. Personality, Mr. Swallows the piano. He's always smiling. You always see those pearly whites. Kind of like you that way.
We're from the same school of smiling.
Yeah, into the game right now here for Dixon. And as we said, 4 fouls. Dixon, 13 points. And a starting role here this evening. White stops and pops, and it doesn't go. Second chance opportunity, and that's where they miss Royce White there.
They do on the boards. I mean, you're talking about a guy that pulls down 15 boards a game.
Blake Scales, alley-oop! Oh, unsuccessful. Went the back door, didn't work.
Now they're blowing the roof off of this place, that's for sure.
Cadogan on the drive, fouled, and he'll go to the line. Foul going against Cox, be his first. And for the Hurricanes, 16th foul. Bolden, Friesen, and Capers returning here for the London Lightning as we take a look at the drive there by Cadogan.
Junior Cadogan is the type of player that puts so much pressure as an opposing guard. His jersey's ripped there on the side from something. Who knows how that happened or when it happened. But, Junior Cadogan puts a lot of pressure on the opposing guards, and he just has you on your heels.
Guess he doesn't know that there's probably a Taylor right across the street there that could fix that.
Did they do it in mid-game? Did they do that in mid-game, Taylor's? In the middle of a game, they can come and hit Cookie out?
I don't. I was thinking he could have done it after the game because he had that rip there like on game number 3. And I was thinking there's a nice little place there right across the road from the Scotiabank Center.
There you go.
But
a little ball pressure.
Yeah, the little double team here. White will come up with it. They have numbers the other way if they could get it. Cox inside against Williamson. Can't finish. Loose ball, and that's gathered up there by Maurice Bolden. Bolden didn't see much playing time in game number 3. Here's Cadogan. And he kept on driving. Watson set up there. Thinks there should have been the charge.
Yeah, as he was looking for the charge, he set up there and looking for the contact.
Pretty well had his hands on the ground, pointing where he was. 5:44 left to go here in the third quarter, 54-45. You having fun with this?
This is a ball game, man. I'm telling you, a lot of fun.
Blake Scales, 3-ball, in and out. And the former Hurricane retrieves it there. The Alberta Golden Bear, Joel Friesen going end to end. Now swing it, Cadogan. 5:24 left here in the third. Williamson. We mentioned earlier, quiet. Oh, that was unfortunate as Friesen blows a towel. Numbers, tire, Mason. And the tough foul there as Maurice Bolden got back.
And Anton Mason jumps up, steps to the line.
Yeah, he's like doing his big Katy Perry impression. No big deal.
No big deal at all. No big deal at all.
Timeout called on the floor here. 5:11 left to go. 54-45. Halifax Hurricanes leading the London Lightning in game number 4. And
so far, I mean, when you talk about the adjustments that are made in the halftime, one of the things you see from the London Lightning, they're pressuring the ball. They're making it a bit difficult for Halifax to get in their offense. And so far, we saw at least one turnover that resulted in a Halifax loss of possession. The game is about possessions and adjustments through the game as we go through this. And in these series where you see your competitor a whole lot, there's a lot of opportunities to make a lot of changes as we're seeing. And thus far, I think I like the way Halifax has responded. They haven't relinquished the lead yet. We do expect to see more changes as this game continues. But so far, I like the response Halifax has to what London's presented to them.
Yeah, and the thing is, we were thinking maybe possibly like there was like some like a little bit of shenanigans and trash talking. It's been pretty clean.
It's all business, all business thus far. I mean, we've seen two teams. Certainly, we've seen some hard fouls. We've seen some aggressive plays. We've seen some diving, loose ball. We've seen all of that, but nothing that would fall in the category of dirty or anything like that at all, or anything that would make you to have cause for concern. It's been a really clean basketball game.
Yeah, because so of course some of the London fans who are of course probably big readers of Morris Delacosta, who's made the trip down here to Halifax, just right close to our broadcast location, had a article written up, and it was talking about Billy White punching Ryan Anderson in the back of the neck. You were kind of thinking maybe once we've heard some things like that, we would probably see a foul fest or probably a lot in terms of that. It has not materialized.
No, that's right. You're right. You might think that there's some kind of carryover from what we saw early, but it's been just about basketball, and I think that's what fans really want to see. All the London Lightning fans down at 93 and King in downtown London, that's what they want to see, and why not? Good basketball game.
Are they like getting together at like one of the local pubs to watch the stream of this, sir?
I believe, I definitely know the prior game, a bunch of them got together at 93 and King, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same tonight. So shout out to the London Lightning fans in the house.
Yeah, we'll say hello to them. Not really looking like the result they're kind of looking for right now. It's a 11-point game, 56-45, but we're glad they could join in. Of course, they are the model franchise, and they do very well attendance-wise. And
hey, speaking of attendance, great-looking crowd here tonight, by the way.
Yeah, it was late arring. We were looking around, like we were talking to some of the, of course, we have the television crew covering Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. I was talking to them, and it looked like it wasn't really much of a crowd, but it was late arriving.
It was.
It's better late than never.
Absolutely. You could count on your one hand with the fans in the seats, but then all of a sudden they turned on the lights, and there you go.
Billy White probably lucky not to get a charge there. 4:40 left to go, and White logging a lot of time here. Lost the rock right momentarily. Sends it over the corner. Otieno, and that bounces in and out.
He had another one in the first half that bounced in and out as well, too. But great to see good energy from Kenny, who doesn't get tons of minutes, but we're taking advantage of the time that he gets.
Well, I also mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he still has a lot to do with the Halifax community, even knowing that he's not getting a lot of playing time. As Williamson there called for the foul. Cox thinks it should have been travel, but I'm sorry, Anthony Cox, there's 3 officials on the floor, not 4. So, hey, you were not one of them, so.
Yeah, you can't have both, either you're an official or a player.
There's a second foul called against Kenny Otieno.
But yeah, again, great. I love the energy that Kenny's brought to the game thus far. Just really getting out there and taking advantage of the opportunities and what minutes they give you. Right, Matt? As Matt nods in approval. Matt Elliott of HalifaxHurricanes.ca. Here we go.
Yeah, he joins us sometimes, so he fills in for Vince and I when we're not able to do it, and he does a fantastic job on the site and on air. So as the first free throw doesn't go, as Williamson struggling from the stripe, makes it 2 of 5.
He does a great job filling in for Vince Williams, absolutely.
Oh, he does a good job of filling in for me, too. So. Goes 1 of 2 that time. That's a 10-point game, 56-46.
4:15 left here in the third frame.
There's Poole now. Nice to see him with the stroke as he gets the bucket. He mentioned earlier he had a
15 points
injury.
In the last outing.
Yeah, he had an injury and that kept him sort of contained in the earlier in the playoffs here for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, he sat out game 2, and I actually remember speaking at the end of game 2, and he said, I will be back. And he showed up in game 3, hitting 5 3-pointers, 15 points, and a good shot in the arm for the Halifax Hurricanes.
Marcus Capers with a little bit of offensive production that you haven't really seen throughout the year there, Audrey.
Well, Capers unfortunately wasn't with the team for a majority of the year. He was on an indefinite suspension, but that was lifted. He joined the squad, and he's been hasn't got a ton of minutes as yet because, I mean, obviously he hasn't been here all year long, but taking advantage of the time that he gets.
Well, he averaged about 5.3 points a game. He's at 7 right now. Poole now for 3. That's no good. And Doug Herring Jr. Vince and I were also talking about how Doug Herring Jr. didn't have a point in the last game, and it's rare to see that happen. We've called many games when he was in St. John, and of course that was the first time all season that he went pointless, and that's rarity for Herring Jr.
You're right, because he's such an offensive threat, but in London, and again, this goes back to how London and how Coach Kyle Julius has been getting guys to buy in. He understands his role. He's a distributor. He set a league record, or team record rather, for assists for the club. And that's his role. He's accepted that, and he's produced very well. But he can light you up if he needs to. That's for sure.
Yeah. Fans giving their former Hurricane freezing the gears here at the line as he short ribs the first one. The foul was to Billy White, his third. The stripe not very friendly here tonight here for the London Lightning so far. 11 of 15. And Garrett Williams is 3 of 6. Friesen will sink the second one. And it's an 8-point game with 3:40 left to go.
Again, a bit more pressure from London. London really is trying to make it tough for Halifax to get in their offense, and you want to make them scramble. You want to mix things up for them, and that's what we're seeing thus far.
We use a hockey term. We got a 1-2-2 here, really making things difficult here. White will come up with the ball, but it's smacked out, and it's going to be Hurricanes basketball. Williamson trying to sell the call, but of course the officials weren't buying what he was selling at that time. So we take a look at Poole there, as we mentioned about Capers, of course, indefinite suspension. One of 3 members from the team last year. Here is Clay Scales with 3.5 left to go.
Got time to set up. 12 seconds on the clock.
Yeah. Sends it over. Here's Poole now. Entry pass. White. Williamson. Clock at 5. Poole puts it up. Short rim, but bailed out on a foul. It looks like it'll be Joel Friesen. Actually, he's got to be going against Bolden, pardon me.
It looks like a late whistle there. Looked like it happened as the shot was in the air, fighting for rebounding position. Cox hit the deck and it was right in front of the ref.
Well, we'll take a look at it right there.
Yeah, he threw him down. If you can see it there, he kind of swung his arm around him and took him for a ride.
Yeah. Nice hip toss, WWE style, eh?
There you go.
Poole now puts it up and kind of struggling right now. Last 2 shots.
He's looking for a shot there, Mike Poole, and he's an important member for the Halifax Hurricanes coming off the bench. And when you shoot, shooter's got to shoot, man. Shooter's got to shoot.
Shooter's got to shoot, and defender's got to defend. Boy, you make it sound like a simple game, but it's not.
That's exactly it. It's far from it.
Less than 3 to go here in the third quarter. Friesen it. White on him. Bolden, as we mentioned earlier, not getting much in terms of playing time in game number 3. There's Williamson, looked like contact with the clock at 3. Bolden there trying to force the issue, and great job by him, and Hurricanes turn it over. Here's Bolden, corner 3. That doesn't go. Herring Jr. taps it right into the hands of Otieno. Clay Scales alley-oop, and the finish by White, and 1.
The Halifax Hurricanes bench will love that. Again, a scramble play.
Here it is.
Out in the open court, Klink is going to find you. We've seen these guys hook up time and time and time again. I think they're good for at least 2 alley-oops a game.
Pretty
Billy
much.
White now and Klink Scales.
Yeah, for White, it's a bit of a quiet night offensively. Gives him 6 points now and a chance to make it 7 with the
And that shows you how important Billy White is in this game. Only 6 points. His club is up by 10. He does so much little things: defending, rebounding, blocking shots, running the floor, facilitating the offense. So this shows you the importance of Mr. White as he steps to the line to finish off the 3-point play.
Billy White from the stripe here, 77%. Sinks it. It's 2.5.
Looks like a turnover. I blinked. I missed that one.
Well, it happens. You almost have to. You can't, I have these little stat sheets, cheat sheets. So anytime I look down, then all of a sudden, what happened? It's like try to pass information on, and then all of a sudden I miss something.
Yeah.
I gotta need like 4 eyes or something.
And you got your sheets color coded there. I like that.
Well, I have to because, I'm not the smartest monkey in the jungle here, Godly. You have to color code it somehow. Otieno at the clock at 10, and the throw down to boot.
Wow.
The towel from the Hurricanes bench flies high from Antoine Mason.
This is the second time we saw Otieno go to the rack hard, and again, you love what he can do. and what he has been doing. And one.
Yeah, there's Capers. That would give him 9 and a chance to get into double figures from the stripe. On a nice pass there by Anderson. You would figure that, you're Anderson, you got within, the high 20s in terms of points, but you'd think you maybe shoot the ball, but he's a good team player and is passing it around.
Absolutely.
Knows that he's kind of cold tonight. 1 of 12 from the field.
Well, we saw last game 10 assists, right? To go along with 33 points and 7 rebounds.
Less than 2 to go here. Double team there as Capers was jumping but unable to come up with the ball. Clank Scales now will settle it down there with the clock at 15. Cox comes up, sets the screen, gets his elbows in on Williamson. Here's Ochieno, who brought the roof off the Scotiabank center with an entry pass there to White. Cox jumper too strong with the clock at 2, tipped up. And the former 2012-13 NBL Finals MVP Phillips comes up with the basketball. Williamson driving, fouled, and Poole not happy with the call.
No, Garrett Williamson will put pressure on you.
Cox that will get it.
He'll attack you, and he'll go right at you. I love his attitude. Just put his head down and go. Doesn't matter who you are. I mean, you got the bigger Cox on him, it doesn't matter.
Not been a pleasant night at the line here for Williamson, but he sinks that to go 4 of 7 right now. And it's a 10-point game, 86 seconds left to go here in the third.
Garrett recording his 9th and hope, actually was his 10th point, looks like. He's going to go for his 11th.
And Stripe, a little bit of difficulty, 1 of 2 once again, but they got a second and a third chance at the bucket. That makes it 63 to 56, and a steal.
Yep.
All of a sudden, a 10-point lead starting to go by the wayside here. 7 points, 63 to 56.
Well, we've seen this all series long thus far. Regardless of the deficit, London
pushbacks,
they'll fight back and they'll continue to fight back.
This is where things got really intense there, was the closing stages of the third quarter. Phillips hit a big shot there, got it within single digits in game number 3, hoping to do the same here for game number 4. It's in the single digits now. They definitely wanted to get it within reaching distance as we're under a minute to go here in the third. Mason looking for something. Cox back out. Mason, deep 3, and that's in and out. And Phillips comes down once again with the weak side rebound. Williamson inside, and the bucket as White got over there.
It's a 5-point game
5-point game, just like that. 10-point lead, now cut down. 5-0 run here by the London Lightning. But Cox wide open, whoa! He could go to the store across the road and get some chocolate bars for us and come back and lay that one in.
Well, listen, if there's a guy that will find you on the floor, it is Cliff Clinkscales.
65 to 58 as you see the defense chant come up on your screen right now.
They're
yelling it here at the Scotiabank Center. Shot clock shut off. No fouls to give. Both teams at 17 fouls. Anderson, Capers.
Marcus Capers hits a 3 at the buzzer to end the third quarter. 65-61.
Boy, there's something with them getting daggers right near the end of the third quarter.
Solid executing at the end of those frames, and that's exactly what we saw in this one. Guys, fourth quarter is going to be big.
All right, well, thanks, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Audley Stevenson. Of course, he's in charge of media relations as well as some of the content on the NBL Canada website, joining us here. When he comes to town, he's about as popular as the mayor. Once again, thanks, my friend.
I appreciate it. I'm going to get out of here. Vince Williams is giving me these funny looks there. Well, I obviously have taken up his seat there. I'm gonna leave gracefully. Thank you.
All right, thank you, buddy.
All right, bud.
So we're going to allow Vince to step back in here and once again, 65 to 61, a big shot there by Capers, and he is putting on a show. 18.6 of 11 from the field as Vince gets himself readjusted there, and boy, this game once again, it's almost reminding us of game number 3, my friend. The back and forth here. Hurricanes went on a run, had a 10-point lead at one time, and then the London Lightning showing why they were one of the dominant teams in the Central, earning that 35-5 regular season record with a pushback, and then the big Marcus Capers 3 to end things.
Absolutely. When we talked about it at the start of the broadcast, other guys have to step up in the absence of their best player. And Marcus Capers has been very good this evening, 6 for 11 from the field. The numbers don't lie. 18 points, and he hit that big 3 ball at the end of the third quarter there, sending this game into only a 4-point lead into the fourth. So the same type of momentum, that they had in game number 3, Dan, is just about the same as they're going into game number 4 here, as they're all the momentum, and they're going to try to build on that. And the Hurricanes, in the first 5 minutes of this fourth quarter, they need to be good defensively. They need to be responsible defensively. They need to make sure they contend, and they need to contest, and they got to make sure that the London Lightning take tough shots and tough opportunities. If they don't, and they give up the same type of shots that they had down the stretch here in the third quarter in the last 2 minutes, they're going to be in trouble, where the London Lightning are going to get out of this tonight's game with a stranglehold on this series, up 3-1.
Big fourth quarter coming up here. And as Vince mentioned, will it be 2-2 by the time the dust settles here tonight, or will it be 3-1? We've got a great 12 minutes coming our way. And of course, we'll get everybody set here as Clink, Scales, White, Mason, Cox, and Tyrone Watson on the floor here for the Halifax Hurricanes to start this all-important fourth quarter, their most important fourth quarter here of the 2016-2017 season. Mason inside, Cox with the bucket. Love the ball movement, Vince.
Yeah, beautiful ball movement. Mason not getting it done offensively tonight. Off to a slow start, and it carrying over in the second half, but moving that basketball, and Cox moving without the basketball was outstanding with that finish at the rim.
Herring Jr. sends it cross court over to Anderson, having a tough night from the field, as we mentioned throughout the broadcast. Entry pass picked off by Mason, and he'll tried to go the other way with it, but ran out of real estate, goes out of bounds. Hurricanes, of course, will give up the ball to the Lightning with 3 to shoot, 44 seconds gone.
Yeah, when you have a tough night shooting, you want to try to find other things to do to help the team out. Right now, Mason's doing those things defensively and distributing the basketball.
Well, with a short clock, not much he could do. Spinning and shooting was Anderson, and came up well short. 24-second shot clock violation. 6-point game, 67-61. So we're coming up to 1 minute gone here in the fourth. Watson hands it off to White. Mason watched there by Herring Jr. Cox trying up to set the screen there. Phillips prevented that from happening. Mason drives the shoulder in, looking for a call, none coming. Kadukin going back the other way. Here's Anderson. Catch and shoot for 3. That's no good. If this was Tuesday night, that would have gone down, but this is Thursday, and it's just not working for him here tonight.
Yeah, tough night for Ryan Anderson. 1 for 14 from the field, 3 points. So day and night for him. 33 points in game number 3. He was pretty much lights out, Mr. Everything. Tonight has been a struggle right from the get-go.
Yeah, that last one, 0 for 7 from downtown, and he only has 1 bucket, make it 1 of 15, 0 of 8.
But lots of time left. He can get better here. He can help his team by doing other things.
Phillips for 3, yes sir.
Marvin Phillips, though,
once again coming up big.
Yeah, absolutely. 8 points. Having a big night himself off the bench, giving that leadership. And you mentioned several times an MVP. He's been in these type of situations, so he knows how to get it done down the stretch.
Well, when you think of it with Kadugan and Royce White, he was one of the forgotten men on this team, as Watson comes up with a nice little finger rolling in, 69-64, 2 gone here in the fourth.
Just got to continue to be consistent. Consistent possessions. You got to make sure they attack the rim and get some good shot opportunities.
Up fake there by Phillips. Now Doug Herring Jr. drives. Williamson, contact. Doesn't go right along the end line. Herring Jr. trying to come up with the ball.
Yeah, Williamson was looking for a foul there, but he has to have that inside tight like that area right there. He's got to finish at the rim. Complaining a little bit about body contact, but it's been pretty consistent throughout the night, the officiating, as both teams have had some words after the whistle to the officiating.
Yeah, well, Audley and I were talking about, like, you figured there might have been some, like, carryover because there was accusations of a punch in the neck to Ryan Anderson from Billy White. There's been nothing really in terms of shenanigans. It's just been business as usual. There's a steal there by Anderson. 4 coming back in black jerseys. Johnson with a little finger roll off the glass and in.
And that's the example of Anderson helping his team out when he's having a tough shooting night. Defensively getting his hand, knocking that one away and giving unselfish basketball in transition so he can help his team in other ways. And he just gave an example of how he can do that.
First points of the night there for Johnson. Coming up to 3 to go. White bucket on the drive. 71-66.
Now Billy's had to work for everything he's got all night long, and he had no different in that possession there as the help came a little late there.
And Watson there showing why he made the defensive NBL team on that play. Oh, and foul called as White is very fortunate. It looks like he lost the rock. Foul going against Junior Cadogan.
Yeah, heads up play.
Here it is.
As you can see White in that last possession spinning, and every time Billy gets the ball, he's got to know that there's a double going to come early or the double's going to come late. Great court awareness in transition there by Clint Scales as Billy White was driving to the rim, and Cadogan's call for the reach in, and Billy goes to the line, and he definitely needs to knock down these free throws. Free throw shooting and rebounding are going to be very important in this fourth quarter for both teams, Dan.
8 of 11 are the Hurricanes from the stripe here. Billy White doinks the first one. He was 1 of 1 now, make it 1 of 2. Foul was against Junior Cadogan, his first. 11 points here for the Canadian. And White will sink the second one, goes 1 of 2, 8:43 left. Quickly up, but well read as White got back there, read that one perfectly.
Yeah, he definitely tricked Ryan Anderson into throwing that long stretch run-o pass.
Dixon, 3, more like a dart. Watson trying to keep it alive there, but it will be the Lightning to come up with it as Watson was going out of bounds. 8:22 left to go, Anderson. Johnson, who a couple seconds ago got his first points of the night, elbow jumper over White and gets it to go.
That's a tough shot there by Kyle Anderson. Outstanding crossover on Billy. Billy tried to close out with that hand, but Johnson was able to beat the defense with a nice step back jumper.
Mason, nice touch and in, and count it as well as the foul.
Now we've watched this guy all season long. That's Antoine Mason, the 6th man of the year. Well, on tough shooting nights, this guy doesn't give up, and this is no different. As he able to follow through on the contact there as Cadogan gambled there on that pass and was unable to come up with the steal. And Mason was able to knock down that jumper as Phillips got him on the elbow, but he'll continue to shoot. Great shooters continue to shoot even when they're having tough, shooting nights, and that's what he is, a scorer. And a scorer like Mason will continue to shoot and find his rhythm somewhere and somehow throughout this game.
7 of 9 from the stripe as he gets that one to sink, and it's a 75-68 ball game. 7:48 left to go in game number 4. Tough take there by Cadogan, and the put back there by Anthony Criswell. And for Criswell here, that will give him 7 tonight.
You got to give credit to Junior Cadogan, who's had a very good game. He's been very consistent attacking the rim. If he hasn't made the shots himself, he's struggling a little bit here in the second half, but if he doesn't make that shot, he's giving himself a second chance opportunity for other guys on his team. And that's how they've been sticking around in this ball game, Dan. Second chance opportunities, and when they get their opportunities at those second chance, they've been making the Hurricanes pay. 24 points and 14 rebounds is a whole lot of offense to give up in a tough situation in a playoff game, especially when you're on the road, when you know the previous night when you came in here and you stole game number 3 and you have an opportunity to take a stranglehold on the series and pretty much close this one out, knowing that you're going back for game 6 and 7 in your own building when you've been very good, where you've reeled off 24 straight wins, and the last loss that you had was on basically Boxing Day in 2016. You got to know that winning here is very important, knowing if you're going back home and you're trying to close out the series, it's a good opportunity that you're going to do it in front of your home fans.
And that's what's on the line here as the fans start to get a little amped up here at the Scotiabank Center. 5-point game, 75-70. A question for you. If I gave you like $50 and went to the casino and told you that Capers was going to be the high man in this game, would you believe that?
Well, it had to be someone. I would say, you know what, I would believe that someone would have to step up, you know, and we told you, next man up. We talked about it all broadcast long. It's got to be the next man up or the next men up, whether it's Marcus Capers, whether it's, you know, Cadogan having an outstanding game, whether it's Marvin Phillips coming off the bench having an outstanding game, whether it's late in this fourth quarter here where Kyle Johnson knocking down shots. Somebody has to step up to fill that void. Those double-doubles don't come easy, and they need to fill that void. They've been very successful winning basketball games without their best player in Royce White, and they've been showing it, and they're right there. It's only a 5-point deficit, a 2-possession game. You know, get a stop here, get a stop there, come down, make a shot here, make a shot there. You're right back in it. You either got the lead or the ball game's tied. But being in the situation right now, I would think that head coach Kyle Julius got to be very happy where his team is.
Exactly. He's still in the ball game and getting contributions, as we mentioned, Capers and everybody. As Anderson comes up with it, here is the aforementioned Capers. Alley-oop at Capers. Now into the 20s with that alley-oop slam dunk.
Great pass here in transition by Junior Cadogan. His 4th assist on the night. Cadogan being very consistent and being very, very good this evening. 11 points and 4 assists, and he's just getting it done offensively.
Watson with a clock winding down at 3 and bailed out with the foul. That's the 13th foul there. This one's against Anderson.
Every time the London Lightning make a run or get a little bit of a pushback, the Hurricanes seem to find a way to get that ball inside. Now, if they would have did this from the get-go in the first 24 minutes where they're attacking the rim, getting the ball inside, making an assertive effort to get the ball inside and then back out, we might be looking at a different ball game here because guys would be in foul trouble and there'd be foul difficulty. And at this point, the lead would be a little bit more than it is right now.
3 or 4.
Nevertheless, we're here, and you know it's still an opportunity to get this one done, but it's a must-win situation for the Hurricanes.
3 or 4 there from the stripe there for Watson. 6:35 left to go, and another big dunk.
Miscommunication on that pick and roll. Both guys chasing the basketball. Marcus Capers doing an outstanding job rolling back to the rim. An unselfish basketball with the two-hand easy flush.
Well, he's gotten to do it from both sides of the rim there. Duncan Capers up to 22. Mason off balance. That doesn't go. Johnson with it. And a 3-point game and a chance to tie here with a 3. Capers outside to Cadogan. As we're coming up to the halfway point here from the Scotiabank Center. 77-74. Cadogan with the shot clock at 8. Anderson now has a lane, trying to drive, fouled, and Billy White not happy with it. In the meantime, Anderson, thumb to the eye. That's a big ouchie, bro. And now we'll have to shoot free throws. And it's going against Clay Scales, his 3rd.
Yeah, Anderson on the dribble drive there, and it looked like Clint Scales did catch him in the eye there. Not agreeing with it. It was a tough angle for the official to make that call. It was the trail official who called that foul as the baseline official unable to see and get a good vantage point. So,
and he'll sink the first one there, and that's a big one there. Of course, you get a finger in the eye, your vision's not quite as good as it was, but good recovery, and he'll sink both of them, and it's a 1-point game.
Big moment at the free throw line for Anderson, having a tough night shooting from the field, but able to knock down those free throws. Important parts of this game, he's been able to contribute and able to do that on the free throw line on that possession.
Watson loses it out of bounds, but it will stay with the Hurricanes. 9 to shoot, 5:36 left to go as we take a look at the New Mexico State product, Tyrone Watson. 2nd stint here in Halifax. Clank Scales to inbound the ball against Johnson. There is White. Couple former teammates get together on that one-on-one. Watson kind of rushed the shot and short-rimmed it.
Yeah,
and now a chance for the London Lightning to take the lead.
He's got to have that shot inside, and he's been doing it all season long from that distance. Came up a little short. You can see the screws starting to tighten up for both teams now.
Offensive foul as there's a push there by Ryan Anderson. You're going to call it for the block. Williamson quickly jumps off the bench and gets to the scoring table for Marcus Capers.
I'm not sure.
Great minutes there for Marcus Capers, 22 points.
And I'm not sure why he's not staying in the game. He's been their best player on the night. He's been very tough to guard defensively, and he's been doing the job on the defensive end as well. Just not sure why he's not in the game at this opportune time for the Lightning.
Mason for three. Yes!
See, and he's been doing a good job of neutralizing Antoine Mason. The length of Marcus Capers and the ability to stay with Antoine Mason off the dribble has been giving Mason all headaches all evening long. And then Williamson comes in and gives up that three ball. So tough spot for the Lightning on that defensive possession.
Johnson from outside, unable to hit, weak side rebound. Mason corrals it and then hands it off to Clay Scales, and they're taking their time coming across the half court with 4:24 left to go, 80-76. Watson, reckless pass, gets the return, and one.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he got bailed out with that reckless pass. He had nowhere to go on the baseline.
Superman flex too.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go. As you take a look here, he had nowhere to go. Now this is the dish inside after he was able to corral it and find Clint Scales moving without the basketball, but he had nowhere to go with that basketball as he drove to the baseline. But Clint Scales, with the unselfish basketball as he's been doing all season long, able to bail out Watson, and Watson finishing through the contact.
I don't know what Anthony Criswell had for supper, but boy, oh boy, it's put him in a bad mood because he was talking to some of the fans there just before the third quarter started, and he had some choice words there for his coaching staff, Kyle Julius and crew, just as he was going off there, and Doug Herring Jr. had to pretty well get in the way to make sure nothing more came about of that.
Yeah, he's definitely had an off night as Criswell for the Lightning. 1 of 2 from the field. Has only played 10.5 minutes. 4 points, 5 points, excuse me, and 2 rebounds. And a couple turnovers with 1 assist. So not a very productive offensive night. He's had some frustrating moments.
Take a look at the flex cam there, of course. All brought on by the Watson bucket there a couple of seconds ago. I guess, like, you know, you've been involved with this sport for quite a long time, and you've probably been in coaching levels. What are you saying to Kyle Julius? Your big man is not in the game here.
Well,
what are you saying to your troops?
You got to stay the course. You got to stay the course. You got to make sure that you got to continue to keep grinding out possessions. You got to keep grinding out defensive possessions, making it tough for the Hurricanes. If they're going to take shots, you want them to take shots outside the paint. You don't want the creators to handle the rock and get inside the paint, because when they do, that's when they hurt you. That's when they get the odd man 2-on-1s, the 3-on-2s in their half-court sets. So you got to be responsible defensively. And I seen that Kyle Julius made an adjustment and bring back Marcus Capers, because he had to go back to Capers. Capers, their best player thus far on the night, is having an outstanding game.
Johnson, Capers, Cadogan, Williamson, and Anderson on the floor here for the London Lightning. Watson, Clay Scales, Mason, Dixon, White for the Hurricanes. 4 to go. Cadogan drives, loses the handle, and right there was Captain Klink going into Ed Dixon. Rejected there by Capers as he swats it away.
Been very good. It's been very good in the 2 games here at the Scotiabank Center defensively.
Anderson can't hit the 3.
Needed that 3 ball after that great defensive stop by Capers on the baseline.
3:35 left to go, 83-76. We're kind of thinking maybe that we'd see the numbers into the triple digits for both teams tonight. Not so far, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen with 3:23 left. Mason for 3. No good.
Kind of rushed that shot on that possession. Probably would have been better to rotate the basketball, got it back, and attack the rim.
Anderson takes, spins away from Dixon, but boy, it was well defended there by the Hurricanes just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Ball goes out of bounds with 3:05 left to go.
I'm telling you, the tough night continues for Ryan Anderson. 1 for 18 from the field, 0 for 9 from downtown with 5 points. And all of his points coming from the a field goal and a a couple free throws to boot.
Oh, blown coverage as Mason.
Can't have that. Can't have that in this situation. We talked about being defensive responsible. Right now, the Lightning are not defensively responsible, and they can't afford to lose ground here.
The needle was threaded there. Johnson take foul before he could get the shot off. And he'll head to the stripe. And just a little note there, earlier in the game, Billy White had to leave the floor because he was bleeding. That cut has opened up once again, and it's seen through the whiteness. It's just a matter of probably somebody catching it there from the London Lightning or the officials. So he may be leaving the floor soon here. We'll have to wait and see as Johnson will go to the line. 76.8% from the free throw line this season is Kyle Johnson. Been an up and down series for him. 6 points game number 1, 24 in game 2, 8 in game 3. And so far here this evening here for the Scotiabank Center.
Yeah, they need him to catch some
5.
magic here. Definitely need
6.
Kyle Johnson to catch some magic here, Dan, particularly from three-point range. As you mentioned, 24 points in game number 2, 6 for 8 for downtown. It was pretty much automatic in only 21 minutes to boot.
The double team, the trap broke there by the Hurricanes with ease. Oh, the steal almost there by Cadogan. Here's Billy White. He'll settle it down with the clock at 10. Johnson all over Watson in a battle of ones. Mason there on the take through the paint, and it rattles in and out. Second chance opportunity for Dixon, fouled.
And that was a tough take off the dribble through the triple team was Antoine Mason, and he almost got it to go. But Ronaldo, the unsung hero for the Hurricanes this evening, knocked down a couple big shots in that third quarter to extend the lead, moving without the basketball there as he got lost in the fray as Marcus Capers went after the basketball and didn't block out the man first.
First three throws of the night for Dixon. 78.9% three throw shooter in the season. The crowd will tell you what happens. 85-78. Dixon, of course, in the game tonight, filling in for C.J. Washington. Washington did dress, have a little bit of pain. It's been a good season for C.J. Washington, but it's also been injury prone, pretty well out with injury for the third time this season. Coming up to 2 to go. Williamson. Foul called on the far side. This will go against Mason, trying to plead his case to Matt Boyle, and Matt Boyle turning a deaf ear, as you've seen right there. And that's the third team foul, so the Hurricanes all right in terms of fouls here.
Yeah, compared to that third quarter where they were in the penalty at around the 7-minute mark. It was a great opportunity.
3 fouls in the first minute.
Exactly, and a great opportunity for the Lightning to get into this game and get back
Anderson,
into that lead.
beautiful bucket, and 1.
Anderson staying with it. Tough shooting night. Probably the worst of his professional career, but he knows he's still important to this team. He knows that his offense is still important down the stretch. Even though the game's in reach, he's got to know that, looking at the scoreboard, knowing that they need his offense and they need his guidance and his leadership right now at a very opportune time.
3-man cleaning crew of Lutz, Capers, and the towel boy.
Everybody pitching in. It's important. It's winning time. It's
Give it the old powerful fresh, powerful clean.
Winning time for both teams there. So that paint's got to be dry, because you got to know that the London Lightning are not going to settle for threes. They've struggled from that distance, but they're going to try to get into that paint and attack the rim at every opportunity.
Anderson now up to 9. Foul was to Billy White. That was his 5th. Oh, Dixon wide open, and the two-handed finish Jam Renato Dixon.
That's how you break a full court press. You don't put the ball on the deck, you just pass it through, and an outstanding passing by the Hurricanes.
Stand back. Is it Anderson time? No. 2 straight misses from outside.
Just can't get
100
it done.
seconds left to go. 89 to 81. And the big two-handed jam once again. This time Tyrone Watson with a little bit of a throat slash gesture, and he wants noise. I'm sure they're going to oblige here, the Scotiabank Center crowd.
Horrible possessions. You can see beating the defense there. Mason with the quick pass, and then the stretch long run-o pass off the rebound by Ronaldo to Mason, and the two-handed flush in response by Tyrone Watson. So a horrible sequence of the defensive possessions for the Lightning. Not what they needed at this time. It was a 7-point lead. Now it's up to a 10-point lead. Just can't have that down the stretch, and I'm pretty sure right now Coach Kyle Julius is reading him the riot act, not getting back on defense and not being defensively responsible, as they're starting to come a little bit undone here, and they've done a good job of keeping themselves in check, but now they need to refocus and regroup. If you're the Hurricanes, you just got to continue to do what you've been doing thus far in this fourth quarter. Make it tough on the London Lightning, force them to take tough shots, keep them out of the paint, run them off the three-point line, but don't foul them. But if you're going to foul them, make sure they're not fouling in the act of shooting. Take time off the clock, come down, you're in no hurry offensively, move the basketball, force them to foul you, go to the free throw line, lock down free throws. One and dones is what they need here are the Hurricanes. They can't afford to give up quick buckets.
They have 14 fouls, Vince, so they do have a couple to give there. A little bit of breathing space here in the late stages of this one. Williamson on the floor as well as Capers, Anderson, Johnson, and Cadogan. Anderson, that won't go. Boy, oh boy, it's been a tale of 2 nights here for Anderson.
Absolutely horrible night for Ryan Anderson, to say the least. 2 for 22 from the field, 0 for 12 from downtown. Day and night is an understatement in the offensive output for Mr. Anderson. Tough shooting night, probably the worst of his career, I would say. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to see every single game in his professional career, but if you ask him after this ball game, he's probably going to tell you this was probably the toughest shooting night of his career.
White takes that free throw, 92 to 81, 90 seconds left. Yeah, game 4 is not really his best friends, Vince, because I mentioned throughout the broadcast, you know, that he only had 5 points last year in game 4. But boy, oh boy, you talk about him and all of a sudden there's a 3 and he's in the double figures with 11.
That's a big shot. Now they need a stop here. Hurricanes got to get this possession in. They got to get the inbound in.
Oh, probably not the prettiest, but they'll get it over the timeline. Mason now with 1:15 left to go here in the fourth quarter. And the game here tonight from the Scotiabank Center.
Little confusion here what the Lightning want to do defensively. Looked like they wanted to try to force the foul, but
White through traffic. Swatted out of bounds, and it's going to be Lightning basketball here with exactly 60 seconds left to go. Kyle Julius wants the timeout. Ryan Lutz gives him the timeout with exactly 1 minute left to go here in the fourth quarter. 8-point game. We're not done yet, folks. Not by a long shot. Not with the firepower on this team. You know, Doug Herring Jr. freezing. And I mean, you talk about Capers having it as well. It all depends on what Julius decides to floor here for his 5.
You're absolutely right. They still have a chance. As much as they, you know, as much as they struggled throughout tonight shooting the 3 ball, only 7 for 29 from downtown. There's still an opportunity to steal this game. We're only looking at a 4 possession game, but they need to knock down shots quickly, and they need to either get a steal or foul the Hurricanes off the inbound. They can't afford to allow the Hurricanes to kill the clock. But on the flip side, the Canes got to do a job at stopping them and making it tough for them. They can't allow them the easy buckets, the easy layups going to the basket. or the easy threes. So they got to run them off the three-point line and make it tough on them, and make sure they get the ball in bounds. That's probably the most important part of this ball game right now. If they're going to give up a bucket, make sure they get the ball in and don't have a 5-second violation without running any time off the clock.
Be aware of the double teams, maybe even possible triple teams.
Oh, it's going to come. You better believe it. In the front court here, there's going to be a full court press, and that's what they've been doing in the last 3 minutes, trying to force the turnovers by the Hurricanes and force them into making tough decisions with the basketball. But they've done an outstanding job of not turning it over, the Canes that is.
Cadogan, Capers, Johnson, Anderson, and Phillips out on the floor here for the London Lightning. Ryan Anderson, and the cold shooting continues. Under a minute to go, 2-on-1. Nice play. Not good finish there as Mason couldn't finish, but he's fouled there. And he'll go to the line.
Lightning foul on Marcus Capers.
This is the time now. It's winning time for the Hurricanes.
Capers
Free
called
throws
for his
are
fourth.
very important. They got to knock down these free throws. Rebounding and free throws and not turning it over offensively are very important. And Mason has a very important trip here with these 2 free throws. Rattles home the first, so that'll do it.
93-84. 47.8 seconds left. A reminder to everybody, the NBL Canada YouTube will have game number 5 of this series Saturday night here for the Scotiabank Center at 7 o'clock. Weather will be 2-2 or 3-1. Looking like 2-2. Still lots to go here. There's the deep ball that doesn't go. Scramble, fight, and an elbow. And boy, Clinkscales.
Yeah, he took it.
He took that right in the old chompers there.
And Billy White is not happy as the crowd.
And here we go. We were talking earlier about the clean play, but no. White, who's had a bee in his bonnet for the last couple of days.
Yeah, he absolutely nailed Clint Scales with that elbow, and he did not miss. Catch Clint Scales square, and the job of Clint gets back up. Doesn't look like he's
White's just looking for anybody in a black
difficulty when it comes to White's
looking for anybody in a black jersey.
And Clint Scales, the captain that he is, pure class, gets up, doesn't have anything to say to the London Lightning, walks away, tries to calm his team down. He knows how important to have his composure along with his teammates in this difficult times. He doesn't want anybody to get thrown out in garbage time where the game looks like it's pretty much in hand with a 9-point lead with 34.6 seconds left.
I'll show you. Sorry. Go ahead, bud.
So you gotta give your hand, you gotta tip your hat to Clint Scales, the ability to walk away from this type of adversity, knowing that he might have taken a dirty shot of that elbow from Ryan Anderson. And Ryan Anderson talking to Clint Scales, saying, showing some type of sportsmanship, saying, you know what, I didn't really mean to do that. No harm, no foul, apologizing. So you got to tip your hat to Ryan Anderson as well, showing sportsmanship in this difficult time where the game pretty much is still in the balance here. In a couple possessions, a couple turnovers here, a couple shots down the stretch here. They still have an opportunity to steal this one, but the Hurricanes, the way they've been playing, Dan, looks like they were pretty much in control for the rest of the way here, and it looks like we might get a 2-2 going into game number 5.
Billy White gets a 6th personal foul, and the fans showing their appreciation for Billy White. And you were saying about, tip your hat to Clinkscales. If you got an elbow in the mouth, you kind of maybe feel a little bit free, would be almost to get up and just, guns a-blazing. But that wasn't the case.
No,
all of a sudden, he was trying to calm the troops down, and it's like, I'm the one who received the elbow in the face.
Yeah. I should be the one that should be upset and angry at, the guy that threw the elbow in my face. But, like I said, you got to tip your hat to Clint Scales. I mean, the guy's just nothing but a class act for this organization. He's not the general, his nickname, the general, for nothing, right?
Yep. He'll take the second free throw. We'll make it a 10-point game. Kind of thinking that Tuesday night was not really the great crowd, but we had a great one here tonight, and they're probably going to be going home happy here. There's the 3 throws here for Johnson coming up here for the London Lightning. Anderson was called for his 5th, and Billy White called for his 6th as this free throw. So now makes it once again right back here to 94-84, 34.6 seconds left to go. Cadogan gets the inbound here from Capers, Phillips, as well as Johnson and Anderson on the floor. Hurricanes will come up with the ball, and they'll take their time with this one. And you can see and hear the Scotiabank Center crowd standing up, showing their approval. There's going to be a 1 second difference between the game clock and shot clock. No fouls to give for the London Lightning as we take a look at Clink Scales on the one-on-one with Johnson. Just happy to give up the 24-second shot clock violation. 6 ticks left. A game that they had to have, and they got 94-85. Ball game over.
Well, I tell you what, Dan, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. This situation has, it looks like.
We got Criswell just right close to our broadcast location, jumping in.
And he's going after
right
a
here.
couple fans here.
Well, he was mouthing off at them just before the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he was not happy at all.
That may put him in the bad books there.
Well, I tell you what, that's his acts is definitely going to be reviewed by the league office for game number 5 for sure. So the London Lightning might be without Anthony Criswell. I'm not, speculating on it, but it looked very bad behind the broadcast area between you and me.
Yeah, because you almost came out of your chair trying to prevent it.
I tried to reach for him to stop him from going into the crowd, but he made it into the crowd. Looked like he faked a punch to one of the fans after he spat it in their direction. So, not a good situation at the end of the game as cooler heads did not prevail in one individual, in Anthony Criswell.
Yeah, it's a tough one here for the London Lightning. They lose 94-85, a game where they were without their big man Royce White here tonight. They came into the game thinking we could come in and win this one. Without him, that didn't materialize. Series tied at 2. Game 5, Saturday night. Vince, thank you very much.
Yeah, much needed win tonight, Danny. You can sign us off.
Yeah, Vince is going to go do the post-game recap here. So he's going to go have a player. You can go to the NBL Canada website and take a look at the interview tomorrow, as well as the NBL Canada Twitter site. We'll have that information. So once again, final score 94-85. Next game, Saturday night, 7 o'clock here at the Scotiabank Center. We hope that everybody here in the Maritimes, as well as the folks watching back home in London, can tune in for that one. It will be 6 o'clock Eastern for them, 7 o'clock Atlantic, and we will have it here for you. So we want to thank the Silver Vision crew, as well as Matt Elliott from HalifaxHurricanes.ca for providing us the information. Silver Vision crew, as I mentioned, and we want to thank you, our loyal viewers here on NBL Canada. For all of them, my name is Dan Hobson. So long from the Scotiabank Center. Have yourself a fantastic Thursday night.